Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name's Ian and it's a lovely warm day here in the south of England. So I thought I'd review a novel that has a very similar sort of setting. Well, it's not that similar to the south of England, but it is an island, so it's got that in common. So I'm going to be talking about Yukio Mishima's 1954 novel, The Sound of Waves. Now, when I read this, I think it was the fourth or fifth novel, maybe sixth, that I read by Mishima, and I felt it was a little bit of a departure from his other styles. And it was as I went through. And at first I was a little bit taken aback. I was like, Yukio, where's the bitterness? Where's the resentment? Where's the real nastiness? But as I went on, I persevered with it and I did enjoy it very much. So this effectively is a coming of age story, a love story of two very young people. There's other characters naturally. And the setting is on like a fishing island. And our main character, Shinji, he lives with his mother, who's a pearl diver, and I think he lives with his younger brother as well. Now, he's a fisherman, and he's quite content at that. Doesn't have a great deal of ambition in that sense. So, yeah, Shinji's our main character. Then we're introduced to Terakishi, who is a wealthy man. I think he owns some boats, some shipping boats, and his son has died. So he brings his daughter Hatsu back from another island. I think he'd adopted her out there. And she is described as being absolutely beautiful, and it's not long before she catches Shinji's eye. Terakishi also says whoever gets with Hatsu and marries her will also become his son and heir. So that offers an extra temptation to Shinji. Then we're introduced to another character, Chiyoko, who's come back from university, I believe. And at one point she had a liking to Shinji. And when she finds out that he's very much interested in Hatsu, she's not very happy about it. And she spreads some lies about them, saying that Shinji has taken her virginity, which causes real problems. And Terakishi then doesn't want the two of them spending any time together. She does later regret this decision, but at the time, she's just wildly jealous that Shinji is absolutely in love with this Hatsu. So the moral shame of them having had a tryst together outside of wedlock. So, yeah, father steps in, separate you two. But they do still manage to communicate together, and they do this through letters. And Shinji is also helped by his mentor on the fishing boat and one of his work colleagues as well, to sort of pass these letters back and forth to keep the relationship going. And Shinji's mother even appeals to Terakishi that, Shinji's a good boy, he's telling the truth, he hasn't done these things he's been accused of, etc., etc. But no, it's he just closes the door on that. And there's also the character Yasuo, and this pronunciation of these names is dreadful, so I do apologise. But Yasuo also really likes Hatsu, and he's a different kind of character to Shinji. He's not described as quite as noble, and there's also a scene where he tries to force himself on Hatsu. He's not successful, but that also gives you a measure of his character. So it becomes a kind of love triangle in a sense. And that's roughly where I'm going to leave the plot. I suppose I could say one more thing. Terakishi eventually sets up he invites Yasu and Shinji onto one of his largest shipping boats to work. And perhaps, let's say the scene is set for the two of them to compete, perhaps. Now, what did I think of this novel? I'll be honest, I didn't enjoy it as much as some other of Mishima's work. I did find it a little bit pedestrian, but the description of the island, of the fishing, is absolutely stunning. It's really, really beautiful. Some really sort of florid metaphors that you often get with Mishima, which was great. And so it's set in post-war as well, so we've got that backdrop, as you often did with Mishima's work. And as I said before, it's a coming-of-age story. Now, what I would say about this novel, I was chatting to a friend of mine about it a little while back, because I read this last year. It was last year. And I was chatting to her about it, and she was like, I love that novel, except for the last line in it. And I had to reread it. And I won't spoil it for you now, but yes, let's just say Mishima couldn't resist putting his own sort of flair onto that last line, which my friend felt spoilt some of the sentiments earlier in the book, but to be honest, it made me laugh out loud. As certainly quite a cynical sort of ending there. But yeah, I enjoyed this book very much, although I'd probably only give it 6.5, something like that. Not one of my most favourite Mishimas. But let me know your thoughts. Did this stand up to his more classic novels for yourself, or did you find this one, like myself, a bit more pedestrian, not quite as exciting? But yeah, anyway, I hope you're all enjoying yourselves in whatever you're doing. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.